Hi, my name is Avery Closser. Welcome to our presentation on gestures in geometry, where my co-authors and I ask, how do gestures contribute to engagement and vocabulary acquisition through gameplay? Gestures play a strong role in synthesizing communication, offloading cognitive resources, and contributing to learning across multiple domains, including math. For instance, students learn more from just watching a lecture taught with gestures than a lecture taught without gestures. Additionally, performing gestures supports mathematical reasoning and geometry tasks. And removing the ability to gesture actually decreases students' performance on tasks like spatial transformation. Knowing that gestures play a role in learning for both the performer and observer, we wonder how adding or removing the option to gesture in a geometry vocabulary game may impact students' engagement and vocabulary acquisition. We decided to adapt a version of Geometry Taboo to play in a high school geometry classroom. This version was available on a teacher's blog and is based on the commercial game Taboo. We adapted some of the items and ended up with a deck of 25 Geometry Taboo cards with target words such as sphere, intercept, obtuse, acute, graph, and parallelogram. To play, students split into two teams. During your team's turn, one person gives verbal hints about the target word on each card while avoiding the taboo words. The goal is to have your team guess as many cards as possible during 1 minute. Teams win 1 point for each word correctly guessed. The game continues for a predetermined number of rounds, and then points are tallied up to determine which team won. And for this version of the game, we allowed students to skip cards without a penalty. We conducted a pilot study with 10th grade students to explore whether the option to gesture while playing Geometry Taboo may contribute to students' engagement and performance in the game, and their vocabulary acquisition of the geometry terms. The study took place with 2 geometry classes in a public high school over the course of 4 days with a total of 42 students. The first day, students completed a pretest which challenged them to match the 25 terms from Geometry Taboo with a picture that best described the word. On day 2, students were divided into 2 groups, with 2 teams per group, to play Geometry Taboo. Students in the speech-only group were told that they could not gesture while giving hints, while students in the speech and gestures group were told that they may use verbal and gesture hints to describe the target words to their teammates. On day 3, students completed the same worksheet as they did for a pretest. And on day 4, students completed a short online survey with questions about their experience and engagement. Because the study took place over 4 days, some students were absent for 1 or more days of the study. We ended up including 30 students in our analyses, 14 in the speech-only group, and 16 students in the speech and gestures group. And in COVA, controlling for pretest performance revealed no significant differences in post-test scores by condition or a main effective time, although it does seem like students improved slightly from pretest to post-test. This suggests that the game may have contributed to students' vocabulary acquisition, or it's possible that students just benefited from the testing and retesting effect. Next, in ANCOVA predicting total points earned by each student during the game while controlling for pretest found no significant differences, but there was a trend that students in the speech and gesture condition scored more points than students in the speech-only condition. This suggests that the option to gesture may make describing terms easier rather than relying on speech alone, positively impacting students' performance in the game. Additionally, the post-activity survey suggested largely positive perceptions of the game. 21 students responded they would like to play again in class. Students self-reported their impressions of the game, and while most were positive, we found that a couple of students in the speech-only condition explicitly mentioned wanting to be able to gesture during the game, suggesting that the students may have felt restricted by only giving verbal clues. Overall, we found a trending effect to suggest that the option to gesture increased students' performance while playing Geometry Taboo. However, we did not find significant differences in vocabulary learning between conditions. This could be explained by our small sample size and brief activity. It's possible that we would need to run a larger study and possibly have students play the game over more than one class period in order to see differences emerge. But students reported enjoying the game, and we think that this pilot study shows the promise of using embodied learning activities like Geometry Taboo in math classrooms. Please feel free to email us with any questions or find us on Twitter. Thank you so much.